trying to make someone's life a bit more pleasant.
Nothing, I suppose.
Why, Julia, it seems as if you're jealous.
Oh, me? Certainly not. For she's only a lodger.
Come to that. So are you. Look, I was pleased to have you here, and just as pleased to have you. She's had a lot to contend with. How would you feel if your husband died so young, leaving you with a child?
I don't know. I remember married in my teen years. I'm not survived.
Trouble is, we're not all as worldly as you are.
I'm sorry, Ellen.
No, there's no need.
No, I've been spiteful. And believe it or not, I'm rather quite fond of Khalifa. We seem to be on the same wavelength. But you do make too much fuss, of all of us.
I like having young people around me. So when your mother called and asked if you could stay here, I was delighted. It meant I could indulge myself.
I can't find it, Letty. I can't find it anywhere.
What, dear?
It's Friday.
All day, dear.
Yes, Friday the 13th to be precise. Spooky. Dear, what was I saying here, Letty?
You couldn't find it.
Yes, I can't find it anywhere. Have you seen it?
Let's start at the beginning.
It's Friday. I can't find it anywhere. And I read it every Friday morning after breakfast.
Oh, the Gazette, you mean?
That's what I've been trying to tell you.
Yes.
I can't find the Chipping Cleghorn Gazette anywhere. You don't think they've gone on strike, do you?
Oh, no, they wouldn't do that, dear. Not here.
What a lovely thought. A strike. Here. Headlines. Headlines in the national press. Oh, we might even be on the wireless. Reporters of Chipping Cleghorn Gazette refuse to report Vickers garden party.
Things like that don't happen.
Oh no, nothing happens here. It's another world, isn't it?
And just as well, too.
Listen to this. It's marvelous. Absolutely marvelous.
Oh, do tell us what it is, Patrick. We're all dying to know.
Oh, we are in that mood, aren't we? Have a bad dream last night.
A nightmare. It was all about you.
Well, better being ignored.
What's so marvelous, Patrick?
The personal column is all arrogantly. It's better than Evelyn Home. Young woman, said to be excitingly beautiful, seeks companionship with a mature man. Love, marriage, Rolls Royce are his only. Really, Bunny, wouldn't a Bentley ought to be just as suitable?
You know very well, young man, that Bunny always reads the Gazette first. I don't have many rules in this house, but that's one of them. She's been looking everywhere for it.
She could have brought Mitzi's.
Mitzi?
She thinks it will help her to speak English.
Oh no. I couldn't. I just couldn't. Well, I have to walk past the kitchen and she snarls at me. I don't want to help. That's all. She's horrid, that Millie.
Mitzi.
Yes.
Well, you won't have to ask her.
Here you are.
Thank you, Patrick. Why aren't you at college? This wouldn't have happened if you'd been at college.
I've got a lecture this afternoon.
All that grant money you get. And you never seem to do anything.
It's not my fault.
Just enjoy your paper, Bunny. You are very lucky, Patrick.
I'm quite willing to go to more lectures.
It's one giant holiday for him.
Oh, thanks for nothing, sister. Anyway, look who's talking about a holiday. You've got the whole day off.
Only because I worked overtime every night this week.
Pull the other one. Wouldn't surprise me if you hadn't been working overtime at all. And then the picture's more likely.
My goodness, you two. Did you always bicker like this at home?
And he did. I didn't. Letty? Letty?
What is it, Bunny? What's wrong?
Oh, Letty, whatever could it mean?
I won't know unless you tell me.
Here, at the bottom of the personal column. It's an announcement.
How nice.
No. No, you don't understand.
No, I don't.
Oh dear, I can't bear to read it. But you will. Yes. A murder is announced and will take place on Friday, October the 13th, at Little Paddocks at 6:30 p.m. Friends, please accept this. The only intonation.
Are you sure that's what it says?
Yes, right here at the bottom.
Read it again.
A murder is announced Little Paddocks at 6:30 p.m. Friends, please accept this. The only intimation. Oh, Letty.
It's a joke. Well, it has to be. It'd be daft enough to advertise a real murder in the newspaper.
A madman might.
It's nothing to do with you, is it, Patrick?
No, I'm not party.
That's debatable.
Oh, no.
I wouldn't put it past you.
It's nothing to do with me. Perhaps Philippa can throw some light on it.
No. The sort of thing she'd get up to anyway.
I agree. Well, someone seems to think it's amusing.
It frightens me.
There's nothing to do.
But what will happen at 6:30?
Delicious, yes.
Oh, really, Patrick?
He made his Mitzi's special cake. We always call it delicious death.
Yes. Friends, please accept this, the old intimation. A few people are bound to drop around. I thought it might be better to make one.
I'm sure you did. Nothing's going to happen at 6:30. Except Patrick is probably right in suggesting that one or two people might drop around out of curiosity.
So there's nothing to worry about.
Well, are you sure?
Of course.
Good. That makes me feel better.
We'll all laugh about it tomorrow.
Yes.
Someone is after me. I'm going to be murdered in my bed.
Murdered?
It is here, in the Gazette. They are coming for me.
Whoever put that silly advert in the paper did it with its precise intention, turning this house into total chaos.
There will be blood everywhere. They will cut me up and feed me to the dogs.
Oh, dogs.
It will happen in this very house. If I stay tonight, you see, they care nothing for the law. They tell everyone they come to murder me.
No one's going to hurt you. It's a joke.
I not laugh, I go.
Nevertheless, I don't think it has anything to do with you.
You don't know. Once you've escaped, they never let you get away.
But I thought you did get away.
They hound me day and night and day, to telephone calls. You wonder what they are, who they are from.
What telephone calls?
Agents from my country. Why do you think they keep phoning me?
I expect they want to know how you're getting on over here, Millie.
But Mitzi, I've never heard you guess telephone call.
They do it in secret. They never leave you alone. They don't like it that I get away from them. Oh, you have no idea what it's like. The light shining in your eyes. Days, weeks, months, they interrogate me. My family, they send them to Siberia.
Mitzi, do be sensible about this. No one is going to come after you. No spy, no agent. So calm yourself down. We'll all look after you. Now, here's what I suggest you do. You go into the pantry and get the beef and make that special goulash for us for lunch.
Oh, you like my goulash, eh?
It's simply delicious.
I tell you then, I make it even more special for you today. I put in some wine, some rich red wine from Hungary. It makes my mouth water just to think of it.
Good. You do that. Incidentally, I expect someone or other might be dropping around 6:30.
To murder me?
No.
Then why they come?
For a drink and a sandwich, perhaps. And you make such good sandwiches.
It will be all right?
There's nothing to worry about.
You are right. I'm a good cook, no? I make a good dip too.
Well, yes, but not too much garlic, please.
You don't like garlic?
Well, yes, in moderation. After the last dip you made, we were totally isolated on the church last weekend. And that was 2 days after we'd eaten it.
I tell you then, I use only 2 cloves of garlic this time, instead of my usual 7. It's not to be nearly so good. I go now. Too long you've kept me guessing.
Well done, little Betty.
Oh yes, beautifully handled.
How nice to have you two in agreement for once.
Oh, Nettie was always very good with people. Very good indeed. If only she...
Buddy, dear, we mustn't keep reminiscing. Young people aren't interested in the past these days.
Oh, dear me. I am sorry, Nettie. My thoughts just, they run away with me. I am sorry.
Bunny, I wasn't angry with you.
But no, you're right. Everything's so confusing and, well, I must watch what I say.
No one minds. We all understand. Just enjoy your picnic, dear. You know how much.
Yes, but I won't read that advertisement again, Nettie.
Oh, no, dear. Don't do that.
Although, Mitzi could be right. We could all be murdered in our beds.
Bunny, the advertisement says 6:30. I don't think any of us will be in our beds by then.
Oh, we won't, will we? Oh, but we can be murdered down here just as easily as upstairs.
Bunny,
Well, Oh, Letty, please don't.
Well, for a moment there, I could see Missy getting in trouble and me having to be with you from now on. And you didn't make any comment, thank you very much.
I was just thinking what a terrible liar Missy is.
We all know she doesn't get any phone calls.
What about her parents being sent to Siberia? Last time she were told us they were executed in the Red Square.
While she stood in the snow crying as the tears froze on her cheeks.
We must be sympathetic to it. How would you feel if your life was completely boring, with no one to talk to, no one from your background? I suppose that's why she makes up all these stories.
Lies.
Well, yes, I do. But I think I can see why she does it.
Why are all her stories such gloom, doom, disaster?
Perhaps that's what she enjoys. Like some people enjoy reading murder mysteries.
The front door was open. I do hope you're not intruding. Not at all, Miss Marple. Only I popped in to spill lemonade. To Miss Bunny.
Oh, how lovely!
You remember you admired them so at the vicarage the other day. I told my nephew and he insisted I bring some along for you.
Oh, yes, thank you. Oh, what a lovely thought. Aren't they lovely? It's so unusual for autumn.
My grandmother was able to grow them right up to the winter months. I adore violets.
Yes. There's something very sentimental about them. Don't you think so, Julia?
I think you're very romantic in nature, Miss Marple.
Do you?
But I do see what you mean.
Well, I don't think Patrick does.
There's no romance in his soul.
Well, you're only his sister. You probably wouldn't see it if it was there.
How should I go? I want everyone to see them.
What about here on the sidewalk? There's even a pass waiting for me.
Oh, but it already has water in it. It must be stale. I'll only be a minute.
Do sit down. It's so nice of you to call. I wanted to invite you to Bonnie's birthday party on Sunday. I know she'd love you to be here.
Oh, thank you. I love parties. Perhaps there's something I can do to help.
Oh, I'll be helping Aunt Betty, Miss Marple.
I'll be helping Aunt Betty, Miss Marple.
Well, you'll probably be sleeping until noon, and then spend the rest of the day snoring in your armchair. So we can't rely on you, can we?
The announcement in the Gazette. What does it mean?
You've seen that, have you?
I should think everybody in Chicken Claymore has seen by now.
Probably some crack who thinks he's being funny.
I thought it was an invitation to some sort of new game or something.
Yes, the murder game. Sounds nice, doesn't it?
If you're interested, Miss Marple, why don't you come along at 6:30?
Oh, do, Miss Marple.
I'd love to, but I have to go into Mendenham Wells for my treatment, and I'm not sure which one to take. I'll do my best, though.
Was your rheumatism better?
Very much, thank you. The small waters are so good. Give it another week, and I should be back in the seat near me.
Chip and Claymore won't be the same without you.
I shall, Miss Clare. Although I don't think my niece would be sorry when I leave. They've been very patient with me.
Would they like to come tonight?
Oh, I'm sure they'd love to. My nephew is very much like me, but they're having dinner with the bishop.
Oh, it would be rather reassuring to have a vicar here.
No, your neighbors don't get doing. The Colonel and Mrs. Easterbrook first off.
No. Very boring.
Claire Whitman wouldn't miss an opportunity like this. And young Edmund, two beautiful young girls staying here.
Now there's someone I can do without. And Philippa says it's a layabout.
I thought she was a writer.
Oh, he is. But she says it's just an excuse not to get a real job and actually work for a living.
Perhaps she's got a point.
Do thank the vicar for me, Miss Marple. It was so lovely for him to think of me.
He was delighted you noticed that. He brought the original coming back from Devon, Dog Valley. He was born there.
Oh, Devon violets. There's nothing quite like that.
Well, I must be going. I hope all of you want to see.
What?
The announcement in the Gazette. A murder will take place here at 6:30.
Oh, yes.
If it wasn't a game or some sort of joke, it would be very worrying for all of you.
We're made of sterner stuff than you think, Miss Marple.
But surely, Miss Blackwell, if there's going to be murder, there has to be a victim. If I were you, the question I'd be asking myself is, who is going to be murdered?
Not my pâté de foie gras.
It is delicious.
It was a present. It came from Fortnum's. I was saving that for a special occasion.
You tell me to make sandwiches, I do it.
I was rather thinking of cheese.
Your English cheese, it is like soap.
We like it.
Do you need me anymore?
No thank you, Mitzi. Are you going out?
I have things to do in the dining room. Then I go to my room and lock myself.
Well, before you go into hiding, could you let the guests in when they arrive? I've decided to keep the front door locked this evening.
I have everything here. Head cook and bucket washer.
Bottle wash.
Yes, that too.
Not long now. Aren't you worried?
Why should I be?
Well, supposing this isn't a hoax. Supposing some madman is going to commit a murder here tonight.
You're the last person I expected to take it seriously.
Well, I do have a few butterflies in my stomach.
Well, have a drink and relax.
Well, Father noticed Miss Marple's comment.
Forget it. Miss Marple relishes this sort of thing. She's a real old woman.
Well, I see another old busybody. And if she's right, who's going to be the victim?
It's probably someone who wants to get even. Someone I owe hospitality to, but it's slipped my mind.
But if it isn't,
Julia.
one of us is going to die.
I don't want to hear any more. It's nonsense.
It could be you, or worse still, me.
Thank you very much.
But there has to be someone in this house. Patrick, there are times I could just throttle him. Then there's Bunny.
Who perished with thought? Poor dear Bunny.
I've seen her driven to distraction by her before now.
Well, yes. But we've been friends forever. Since childhood. She can be irritating. What a horrible thought.
On a happier note, perhaps the mid secrets will clear it on. She gets on my nerves.
That's not good enough reason to murder her.
Believer puzzles me. Who is she? Where did she come from?
You know exactly who she is and where she comes from.
We've only got her word for it.
The same applies to you and Patrick.
Her mother wrote to you and told you we were coming.
How do I know it wasn't a forgery?
I see what you mean, but it wasn't.
I'm sure it wasn't. The same way I'm sure about Philippe.
It's all going to take place at 6:30. This room will be the scene of the crime, I suppose.
This is a crazy story, Letty. It just doesn't make sense. If someone intends to commit a murder, why on earth announce it in a newspaper? I should have thought it would have been wise to keep quiet about it.
You're right, Believer. It's crazy. It's got to be a madman.
What about a mad woman?
It's a wonder the police haven't been around here.
I shouldn't think for one moment they take it seriously.
Do you?
Of course not. It's too silly for words.
You don't sound too sure of yourself.
I certainly am. It's just someone who wants an excuse for a drink. Let's forget it, shall we?
Oh, Aunt Letty, it's rather getting on top of you, isn't it?
No, it isn't. But you keep going on about it. It's stupid, and it's childish, and I've had enough. Do you understand?
Quack, 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 quack.
Is anything wrong, honey?
It's quite a noise they make, Letty. They're all out on the back lawn.
Oh, my goodness, the ducks. They should have been locked up ages ago. Have you been outside like that?
What?
Without a coat?
Only to the bottom of the garden to throw some rubbish away.
Dr. Robinson would be very annoyed, and I'm not sure I shan't tell him.
Please don't.
He'll be the death of me. I better lock him up, and I'll be a minute.
I'll do it.
Certainly not, Cooper. You've been at work all day. Relax.
I'll go.
Thank you. I'd rather do this.
I would have gone and done it for her if I'd had my galoshes on.
I noticed you stayed discreetly in the background. Afraid to get your hands dirty.
No. My new dress, as a matter of fact.
That must have cost a bomb.
A friend bought it for me.
Oh, like that, is it?
Ask no question.
Yeah, or black chiffon.
I beg your pardon.
If you're the murderer, death or black chiffon would be very appropriate, wouldn't it?
If you're trying to be funny,
I once read a book called that.
Are you sure, Bonnie?
No, that wasn't it. It was called Death Wore Black Lingerie. No, that wasn't it either. It was called, oh, Death Wore a Bra and Panties. That's it. Good book, you know. Although there was some
We opened it this morning.
Here are Mrs. Swettingham and her son, Edmund Swettingham. Thank you. You're welcome. Why, you laugh at me?
It wasn't you, it was something else. Honest.
You keep out of my kitchen.
Betsy.
This way, please.
Clara, Edmund, how nice of you to call.
We were just passing, Letty.
Really?
That's right, isn't it, Edmund?
Yes, Mother.
We were in the car, and I said to Edmund, who drives much too fast, you know, "Oh, look, Edmund, we're passing little Cottix. Letty would never forgive us if we didn't drop in and say hello." And Edmund said, what was it you said?
What a good idea.
And I said, yes, isn't it? So here we are.
How nice of you to think of us. Just sit down. Isn't it, Mummy?
What is Letty?
Well, Clara and Edmund were just passing and so decided to drop in and see how we were.
Oh, but earlier you said that they would be bound to drop in. Bursting with curiosity, you said. After the announcement in the Gazette. You did read it, didn't you, Clara?
Well, was it the one?
Read it the porter?
Well, I may have noticed it.
Yes. Julia said you'd be here too. She said, wild horses wouldn't keep you away.
Well, now that you are here,
Totally unexpected.
Patrick,
Yes.
let's all have a drink.
Of course. Sherry, Mrs. Whitman.
Well, yes, that'll be fine, thank you.
Edmund. Well, Philippa, you certainly look busy this morning.
Things got even more hectic after you left.
I see. You two have been having secret meetings. Hatching something?
There's nothing secret about it, and we're not hatching anything.
No, certainly not. See, I had to drop off some honey at Di's Hall from Mr. Lucas.
That's your story.
Julia,
Yes, darling.
I should be careful. Otherwise, a few things might get out that the rest of us will consider most peculiar.
Drinks! Everyone. Cheers. Are they yours with a dash of cyanide? There you are, buddy.
Thank you.
Well, you only die once. Cheers.
Letty,
Yes?
when is this murder going to take place?
6:30.
Are you the murderer?
Me? Of course I'm not.
Oh, you seem to know quite a lot about it.
Well, it was in the Gazette, wasn't it?
I wouldn't be surprised if everyone in Shipping Claiborne saw it this morning.
Yes, yes indeed.
Well, it's nearly 6:30, and if anything's going to happen, it should be sometime soon. Isn't anyone?
Oh, they look lovely.
Yes, please, let's.
Hands up, Daryl! I said get your hands up! If you want, get out of this alive. Do what you're told. You, high above your head. You, ring the door. Go! Now!
He's unconscious. He must have knocked himself out.
I wonder who he is.
I have no idea. I should better get his gun before he comes to.
Yes.
Will someone please help me?
Brother, you're not going. Oh, no!
Listen, you're all right.
Oh, I'm fine.
What's wrong?
It's nothing. It's just right here.
Let me see.
Why the handkerchief?
Well, I don't suppose the police would be very happy if I got my fingerprints all over it.
Police?
Yes, Mother. They'll have to be called in.
Is that Betsy?
Yeah, someone seems to have locked in the dining room.
Why do
I
that?
have no idea.
Hadn't we better let her out?
Yeah, no, I'll go in a moment. There might still be a...
Are you feeling better, Letty?
Thank you.
What happened?
Letty's been shot at.
By this man?
Of course. As he phone girl?
No,
I wonder who he is.
I know who he is. His name is Rudy Shears, and he's dead.
So, he fires 2 shots from here, hits the wall, then shoots himself.
If he tripped, he could have done it accidentally, sir.
Are they all here now?
Yes, sir. Rumbling and moaning.
Oh.
And I should watch the Edmund sweating.
Why?
I should think he's a bit of a left-wing intellectual.
I didn't get that impression last night.
He's been a bit bullshit with me, sir. He was having a go at the force this morning, sprouting on about our Gestapo methods.
Christ. Why do I always pick the awkward ones?
You do seem to attract them, sir.
Why can't I get a nice, peaceful, law-abiding answer to do as they're told, and answer my questions with a certain amount of civility?
Not your style, sir.
Once. Just once, that's all I ask. Somebody up there doesn't like me very much, Sergeant. What's more, that lad up there trying to compound the felony.
Shall I wheel him in?
There's nothing else for it, is there?
Afraid not, sir.
But not that door. That's been sealed for years. Very good of you. Do appreciate your cooperation.
This is very inconvenient, Inspector. It's Saturday. There's shopping and lots of jobs to be done.
I understand your problem, Mrs. Sweater. But may I remind you that a man died here last night? Right on the spot where you're standing. And whilst it may not seem of great importance to you, it is to me and society in general. So it's not asking too much that I can push your shopping to the back of your mind for a while and answer a few of my questions.
I would have thought there were enough questions asked last night.
Oh, perhaps you and I think differently, young man. Yes, I should think that's the answer, that we think different. But if you cast your mind back, way back to last night, you'll surely recall that I let you all go home on the understanding that you would cooperate fully this morning.
Well, it's perfectly clear what happened. This man, Shears was the name, I believe?
Yes.
He came in here intending to steal from Miss Blacklock for the rest of us. Fired shots to scare us, tripped in the dark, and killed himself. Poor devil.
I understand you're a bit of a writer.
Well, yes, I do write.
Well, if all of your plots are as obvious as that, I don't think I'll be interested in reading any of your books. Now, perhaps we could get on with this.
I'm sure we're all perfectly willing to do anything you ask us. But this does come as quite a shock to us, you know.
Well, I appreciate that, Miss Blacklock. But you see, for a start, he didn't break in. No locks were broken and no windows were forced.
He must have come in by the back door. I did.
As I was saying before Miss Marble interrupted me, there is your very bad habit of leaving your doors unlocked, for all and sundry to come and go as they please.
I locked the front door.
For once.
And everyone in the village does it. Leaves them open.
Foolish. Very foolish.
I suppose I must have left the back door open when I went to lock up the ducks.
Now, Miss Blacklock, last night you said you knew this Reese Shears.
Hardly knew Inspector. His father owned a small hotel in Montreux. I spent many years in Switzerland helping to nurse my sister, and I had a meal there occasionally. Recently, I had lunch at the Royal Spa Hotel in Medina Wells. He was there. He approached me, said he recognized me, and said he was there to get a thorough grounding in the hotel business. But I must point out I had no recollection of him at all. Then a few days later, he called on me here.
He's been here before.
Yes.
I remember him, Letty. He came asking for money. You were very upset.
That's right. He gave me some story about his father being taken seriously ill and he needed money for his airfare. Well, I believed he was lying. Surely if his family owned a hotel, they could afford to send him the fare. I told him I had no intention of lending him the money. But what surprised me most is that he didn't make a fuss. He just left, like a lamb.
Do you think he came here purely to look around? Get the layout of the house, that sort of thing?
I never thought about it until now. I suppose that's what he must have been up to. Wouldn't have done him any good. I don't keep more than a few pounds in the house.
Valuables?
Nothing.
Jewelry, silver.
Nothing out of the ordinary. Little bits and pieces. The silver's reasonable, though. Mitzi was cleaning it last night.
I not touch it. It is nothing to you secret police officers. You come here. You blame me all the time. It was the same where I come from. You do not cry. I do not break, you understand? I tell them nothing.
She always liked
Torture me. You get nowhere. I am innocent. Innocent. I was locked in the dining room. That is my 100% alibi, as you say.
And a very good alibi it is. Perhaps too good on the surface. Now just sit down and try to remember that I'm not too keen on the histrionics.
I will not. Sit!
Now let me say this to all of you. I don't want to be here any more than you do. There's a very good football match on at Milchester this afternoon that I would very much like to see. But other things are more pressing. Now, perhaps we can get on with this interrogation without any more interruptions. Now, Miss Blacklock, last night you said you knew Lucy Shears.
Excuse me, Inspector. I'm sorry to interrupt. I knew him too.
You didn't mention this last night.
Oh, I did. But you weren't here at the time. And, well, when you arrived, you rather neglected me.
Did I?
Probably because I didn't arrive until after the action took place.
Rather than turn you to the end of the book to find out who the killer is, eh?
As an analogy, it doesn't work, because that's cheating. I usually don't resort to those tactics. Do you turn to the last page?
If only I could. You said you knew this Reese Shears.
I stayed at the Royal Spa whilst I was having a sensitive treatment for rheumatism. He made up my bill. There were one or two discrepancies which I couldn't fail to notice, of course.
Of course.
When I pointed out the error, he apologized profusely. But we both knew.
Did you report him?
Well, there was actually nothing I could prove.
He does seem to have been a bit of a villain. I'll know more soon. The Swiss police are running a check on him. Hold on, everyone. I'd like you to take the exact positions you were in last night when the shots were fired.
Do you want me to leave? I was coming after the door.
So you were outside when you heard the shots, were you?
I wasn't checking. As you will realize, I came in through the back door. Mitzi was standing around the dining room. I left her out so that we both came in here.
Well, I'll tell you what you can do. Keep an eye on him. I don't want her banging about again.
I am not begging back. Ugh.
And shush again.
Come and sit down, Missy.
Now come along, everyone, please. Thank you. Thank you very much. So, the lights go out, and the torch comes on, then lands on you.
My hands went up. I thought it was a joke. But then he barked at me and I was so frightened I put my hands up high, like this.
Well, he couldn't complain of that, could he?
I thought he was going to shoot me.
You're Miss Blacklock's niece?
Yes.
Well, that's the sort of answer I like, full of confidence. You are Miss Blacklock's niece?
It's just, I don't see what my relationship with that lady has to do with any of this.
Why don't you leave me to figure that out? In any case, I was merely trying to establish who you are.
You can check up on it.
I will. Your mother lives in the south of France, I understand.
Yes, she's lived there for years. It suits her health.
Thank you. Mrs. Whitman,
Yes.
the light fell on you next.
Yes. I just heard that voice. It was frightening. Guttural.
You haven't long returned to this country, is that right?
Yes. My husband was in the diplomatic service. He died abroad. Naturally, I returned with Edmund.
Where were you? Abroad, it is.
Why, Turin. He was in the delegation service there. But I don't see what my personal life has got to do with any of this.
Well, as my knowledge of geography is entirely deserting me. Turin isn't far from the Swiss border, is it?
No.
Just what are you insinuating?
The light fell on you next.
Yes, it did.
Thank you very much.
Aren't you going to ask me any more questions?
Not right now. Mrs. Haynes, the light never fell on you at all, did it?
No, it didn't.
You were actually facing the door.
That's right.
Was it possible to see anything?
Not really. It was difficult to see anything.
Was you in a good position?
It was very dark. I suppose I could make out shape. Nothing more.
How long ago did your husband die?
Why? What on earth has it got to do with this?
I just want to know when and how you came to live here.
I still don't see what the relevance is.
Does it strike you as odd that virtually all of you are newcomers to Spring Claiborne?
It's never occurred to me until now.
It's odd.
I came here a few months ago and I was offered a job restoring the buildings at Dyer's Hall. I'm a trained horticulturist.
That's nice. Go ahead. Miss Mona.
You're not going to give me the belly, are you, Miss Tucker?
Oh no, not today. If you could tell me what you remember, if anything, I'd be very grateful. You were in a good position to see Miss Blacklock and the gunman with the lights turned on.
Yes, I was.
Good. And I'd like to know what you remember before the lights were turned.
Before?
Yes. And then we'll see what you remember after the lights were turned.
Well, let me see. Let us look at day.
Oh, no, my dear. I was going to trade biscuits. I've been having it around.
Oh, yes, I suppose you're right. Let us look at the trade biscuits.
Then on the side.
There was dark, and there was flash.
From the torch?
No,
Oh.
from the trade biscuits. We always keep the silver flash.
Ah.
And then I saw him fire the gun at Letty.
You actually saw him fire the gun?
Yes, I saw him fire the gun at Letty. How could anyone do that? He should be locked up.
Bunny is dead.
Serves him right. He tried to kill Letty.
You were by the door having a few drinks.
I only had one, you know.
Whatever you say. But you were by the door.
Yeah. Well, I was by the door, but then he came in and told me to move away from him. I heard the first 2 shots fired. Then he brushed past me, so I tried to trip him up.
And that's when you think he fell.
Yes, I suppose so.
And after that, you went outside and made a fuse.
No, I didn't mend the fuse. I simply switched them around. It was easy for me. I knew exactly which fuse was affected and how to switch them around.
You want to see his brother?
A year older.
Miss Blacklock's nephew.
No.
I understood you were.
We're second cousins, Inspector. Patrick's mother was my first one.
My mother always referred to it as that, so when we came over here, well,
How long have you been living here?
3 months, I suppose.
So the three of you have really only known each other since about June or July of this year?
I did know them as children.
I see. Would you mind standing in the exact position you were in last night, please? Well, that was a very narrow escape, wasn't it?
I was extremely fortunate.
Right. Well, you're all free to go.
We can go.
Yes. But do stay in the village, won't you? Don't take an unexpected holiday or anything like that.
Excuse me, Inspector.
Yes, Miss Marple?
You have a question me?
But you didn't show up till after the action.
Suppose I was lying. Suppose I was Rudy Shear's accomplice. I easily could have hid and then come out after it was all over. I know the layout of the house.
In that case, you're under arrest.
But I didn't, and I wasn't his accomplice.
Well, in that case, you're free to go.
How very disappointing. You're having a gate with me, Inspector.
And you with me, Miss Marple. I shall question you when I'm ready.
Very well.
I'll be talking to you all soon. You can go now. I'd like you to stay until I... Sit down, please. Miss Blacklock,
Yes.
I think it's cards on the table time.
I don't understand, Inspector.
I think you do. Someone tried to kill you last night.
No. No, Inspector.
Oh, I think there's no doubt of it.
But why?
I hope we're going to find out.
Rudy Shears had plenty of opportunities to kill me if he wanted to. Why wait till last night? Why invite witnesses?
What makes you think it was Rudy Shears?
Well, wasn't it?
Well, he did place the advertisement in the Gazette.
There you go. It sort of proves my point. If he really wanted to kill me, why not wait behind a hedge and cut me off when no one was about? No. I'm sorry, Inspector. I think you're wrong. He didn't come here to kill me.
Someone could have put him up to it.
Put him up to it.
Yes. Someone who wanted you dead. Was willing to pay Rudy Shears to do the job. You see, I'm not so sure his death was an accident.
How could it have been anything else? He had tripped and shot himself.
No. Supposing there was an accomplice. And this person who thought that he had done his job and killed you. Wouldn't it be safe to shoot Rudy Shears? Instead of running the risk of him being caught by the police and him telling us the truth.
I see exactly what you're saying, Inspector.
You agree with me then?
No. Because why? Why should anyone want to kill me?
I think you can answer that.
I can't. I've no enemies to speak of. I'm on friendly terms with everyone in the village. It's too ridiculous.
Who gets your money if you die?
Is this really necessary, Inspector?
Please, Miss Blacklock, indulge me. Answer my question.
How to injure you?
I see.
But I must admit that the furniture and a small annuity goes to Miss Butler. So I suppose that makes her suspect too.
But nevertheless, all three of them benefit.
And not one of them will harm a hair on my head.
You'd be surprised what people would do for money.
Really, Inspector, I find this conversation extremely distasteful. You are accusing people very deeply. People I trust, yes, with my life.
If you got anything of great value,
Nothing special, nothing out of the ordinary.
how about those pearls you're wearing?
They are priceless.
Oh?
They belong to my sister. We were very close. I wear them all the time. They somehow, and I don't suppose you'll understand this for 1 minute, keep me in touch with her.
Miss Blacklock, I'd like to think that I'm not insensitive. If someone is trying to kill you, if you please step back to the wall. If he had merely intended to frighten you, he would have shot to the ceiling. But think. The clock's turned past hour. Everyone turns to it. The lights went out, and the door swung open.
Miss Marple!
Give me that gun!
It's a toy. Might as well be some potato.
the rampage of an old copper. Someone is trying to kill you, and it can happen any time now.
Just because Miss Marple agrees with you doesn't mean to say you're right.
I'm trying to save your life.
I believe that too, Miss Blacklock.
Somewhere, there's a reason, and you know it. It may be hidden deep in your mind, but you've got to bring it out.
There's no reason, I'm sure.
Please, think.
But I understand that one day you can inherit millions.
Miss Marple,
Miss Bunner was telling me when we were having coffee in the Bluebird Coffee Cafe.
Trust Bunny. We shall have to do something about her.
why have you been keeping something back from me?
It's nothing. It has nothing to do with this case or me. In fact, it's most unlikely to happen.
Do I have to ask Miss Bunner and Miss Marple for the details?
Miss Marple is referring to Randall Goble's will.
Randall Goldberg.
Oh, he was a financier inspector. Very flamboyant. Held as a genius in the city.
He was. I was his personal secretary for nearly 20 years. He made millions.
But without you, it might never have happened.
You seem very well informed, Miss Marple. Why don't you tell the inspector?
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be rude.
No, I'm sorry, Miss Marple. But you must understand that Bunny does get things muddled. He may have got a strange version of the truth.
What is the truth?
I owed Randall Goble some money in his early years. Everything I had. He was up against it, losing everything he worked for. He didn't. I more or less became junior partner. When he died, he left a fortune.
Who?
His wife, Belle, entrusted her during her lifetime. When she dies, it comes to me.
Tell me, how does Belle feel towards you?
Well, we were always great friends. I haven't seen her for years.
Miss Bunner was telling me your health wasn't too good at the moment.
Belle was never very strong. But Randall said she'd outlive us all. Wouldn't surprise me. Trouble is, well, now she has difficulty remembering anyone or anything. Hold now. I should go to her. But she lives in Scotland, and it's much too far. You know, Inspector, I've had an excellent reason for murdering Belle for years.
So if she dies, you get everything.
Well, most of it.
But what happens if Belle dies, or if you die before she does?
It goes to Pip and Emma.
Who?
Yes, it does sound funny, doesn't it? Randall had a sister, Sonia. They fell out when she married a man called Dimitri Stanford. He sounds Greek, but he wasn't. Mid-European or something. A real rogue. Very handsome, mind you. Randall hated him.
So he cut Sonia out of his will.
It's quite right, Inspector. But it didn't matter. She was rich in her own right. Belle and Randall's lawyers persuaded them to put someone else in the will in case I died before her. Very sensible. Well, the only communication we received from Sonia was a letter to Belle 2 or 3 years after she married, saying she was deliriously happy and had given birth to twins.
Pip and Emma.
Yes. I suppose it was some sort of joke between her and her husband. One was born just before midnight and one just after.
So there's a young man and a young lady somewhere who's trying to become millionaires.
If
you die before Belle Goldberg. Does anyone know what happened to Sonia and her husband?
Well, the last we heard, they were living in Eastern Europe.
How old will Pip and Emma be now?
25 or 6, something like that.
They must be found. Have you any idea what they look like?
There were no photographs to speak of. Even if there were, it wouldn't help us to recognize Pip and Emma now.
What did Sonia look like? They may resemble her.
Oh, she was dark, very temperamental, and very attractive.
Pip and Emma.
Or Sonia, Inspector. Her husband, Dimitri Stanford, wasn't it?
Yes.
You said he was a rogue. Supposing he had all her money. Surely she'd stand to gain if you died first.
Well, Dimitri would too.
Yes.
So there are at least 4 people who would benefit from your death, Miss Blackwell.
Yes.
Oh, but you can discount Patrick and Julia now. If I die before Belle Goldberg, they'll only get a pittance.
At this stage, I don't believe in discounting anyone, and I advise you to do the same.
Is anything wrong?
No.
Then why are you looking at me so strange?
I hadn't realized. No, Mitzi, nothing at all.
Just a minute, Missy.
What do you Why do you want to know?
And he found me.
My family is dead. Massacred.
But I understood they were sent to Siberia.
Who told you that?
Miss Vanner?
You mean you have no brother or something?
I am alone.
Any English relatives? Distant cousins, perhaps?
Me? English? Ha! If it were not so funny, I would be insulted.
Sometime you can check all your papers.
Everything is in order. I report to the immigration authorities every 3 months.
Calm down. It's routine. I'm obliged to it.
You think I just murder? Very well. Arrest me. Put on the handcuffs.
Oh, your resting hands, sir.
Arrest me. I do not care.
Put your hands down. Not to move.
Well, you should arrest her. She showed up.
I'm not stealing anything, you stupid old woman. Betsy. No, she accuses me of stealing. I do not.
Honey, what's all this about?
Oh, your favorite cups, Betty. We always keep them on the wash dresser, in the kitchen, and she won't let anyone go in there. There were 6, now there are only 5.
I won't be angry with you. I should break her.
First murder, and now stealing. And why? Because I'm a foreigner. That's the truth. It's her. She's the screwy one. She has done something with it and forgotten. She should be put away.
Mitzi, you're being very rude. Apologize to Miss Flanagan.
I will not. I go. You find someone else, and I'm back in your doorstep then.
I'm afraid she can't leave.
Sorry for that outburst. Regrettable, but she's always like it.
You know, Inspector, you should check up on her. I dare say, we'd all be surprised at what you find out.
She does make excellent coffee.
It's the only thing she doesn't have garlic in.
Miss Markham.
Oh, yes, thank you.
Inspector.
Not right now. I'd like to take another look around. Perhaps you'll show me the rest of the house.
Yes, of course. Honey, hold the coffee, would you?
Oh, yes. You like it black, don't you?
Oh, no, actually, I like it white.
Oh. I don't know how you could drink it black. I like mine with lots of milk and sugar. I've always had a sweet tooth. Letty was always teasing me when we were children.
Not many friendships last as long as yours, do they?
No, surely not. You know, she saved me.
From what?
I was destitute. Surely not. You don't believe me?
Oh, yes, of course.
She's so good, not to just me, to everyone.
Yes, she does seem to take a rather lot of people under her wing.
Too trusting by far.
She doesn't seem to be the type of person who's easily fooled.
She's a person of the world, you know, not like us.
But if she worked for Randall Gobler all those years,
Who told you that?
you did.
Emily. It's a secret. Don't tell anyone. Oh, poor Lottie. Oh, poor Lottie. Whenever I think of her, that sad poem comes to mind.
What poem is that?
And sad affliction, bravely borne.
What sad affliction, Miss Bunner?
What?
Sad affliction.
Oh, taking care of her sister all those years. Only she would have done it.
Tuberculosis, wasn't it?
Give up everything. Everything. Nobody appreciates her. Not like me. And that Patrick. He's always taking advantage of her.
Well, he seems such a nice young man.
Huh. He's always borrowing money from her and never paying it back. Always playing practical jokes. Wouldn't surprise me if he put that Rudy Shorts up to last night so that they could, split the money and he could pay it back. Oh, no respect for anything these days.
Well, things haven't been all that easy for them now.
Come look at this. young old people smoke in this house. What a shame. Such a beautiful piece. So is this. Dresden, we have two. A shepherd here and a shepherdess in the hall.
This is the shepherdess, Miss Bunner.
What? No. I've always thought the shepherd was here. Oh, dear me. I get things so modern lately. Oh, with this dreadful business.
Goodness, Miss Bunner, the violets have died. I don't think less until next week.
I must have forgotten to water them. Silly me.
Never mind. I'll bring you lots more. And I think I know someone who can fix that so you never know it had been damaged.
Thank you, Miss Marple.
Well, I must be going.
Must you?
I have some shopping to do.
Oh, very well then. Oh, no, that door. That door's sealed up. It hasn't been opened for years. Yes.
Is there a key?
Yes. You see, the builders were very clever. All the rooms downstairs have the same key, where the rooms upstairs are different. You see, it does not open. Oh,
What's going on here?
That door is not open. I really am terribly sorry. What's wrong?
it's all my fault, Letty. I'm so explaining to Miss Marple how the door hasn't been opened for years. I'm sorry, it's all my fault.
It's all my fault, Miss Bunner. I'm afraid I had this issue with curiosity. Please don't think sorry. I really am sorry.
That's no need. I'm afraid with all that's been going on, I'm a little overwrought.
My nerves are a little up against you.
Well, this door hasn't been opened since they made these two rooms into one. And I believe that was at the end of the last century.
Miss Bonner, I saw the time you were in a coffee cup.
Oh, I should have asked you to do it sooner. You've been an inspector and all.
Yes, it's all part of the job.
Oh,
But how did my coffee come in there?
Well, using my obvious power to attach it, I would have to say that somebody threw it there. Have you any idea why there should be oil in it?
I think I have, Inspector.
Surprise me, Miss Marple.
The hinges have been oiled. Quite recently, I'd say.
So it would open silently. So if Rita Shears had an accomplice, it could have been anyone in this room last night. Why should he have to use this door? Well, whoever it is, they're bound to use it again. Let's just hope I'm here when they do. Oh, it's 11:30. I must be getting back to the station. Would you like a lift?
oh yes, thank you.
Oh, hush, don't apologize. I must be wondering what's going on.
May I come, Letty?
Of course, dear. Goodbye, Miss Bunner.
birthday present, Letty.
I'm sorry, Bunny. It would have been a better present if I had got into the shops yesterday.
No, a box of handkerchiefs was just what I wanted.
I'll give you something on Monday, right?
No, Patrick, please don't trouble yourself.
Oh, the inspector let us get word earlier. I really am sorry.
I am too, Bunny. Well, the party as well.
But we couldn't have gone ahead with it, could we?
No, that's what I said. We have to cancel my birthday party after all this dreadful business. It doesn't bother me. I don't mind.
The man, not most of you, came in here, tried to murder Aunt Letty, and then killed himself. Because of that, whole body has to suffer.
I can't believe that even you can be so insensitive, Patrick.
Oh, I'm quite sensitive sometimes. I mean, I have noticed you and Edmund swimmer.
What's wrong, Patrick? Are you jealous?
Whatever's this? Lover's tiff?
Most certainly isn't that.
You know what they say about the lady who doesn't go past too much.
Oh, please, will you all stop it? I have the most terrible headache. With all this questioning and the shooting. Oh, it's quite dreadful.
Why don't you take something for it?
No, I shall be all right.
Don't be silly. I have some aspirin on my bedside.
I'm quite capable of withstanding the pain.
Of course you are. Why suffer?
Well,
Shall I go?
no, I'll get it myself. Oh.
You really do know her well, don't you?
She surprised me this time, holding out so long before mentioning her headache.
You said she developed a stinker, and you were right.
It really is a pity. She was looking forward to a party so much.
I'm glad it was her decision to cancel it.
I mean, where's the harm?
If we had her cake with tea, it sort of turned it into a little party just for the family.
To cheer up to Noel. Only a teeny-weeny party.
Oh, blast you, you're making me feel dreadful.
I'll buy you a milk stout after one time.
No, go away. Well, we both have tea anyway, so why not?
Good. Go get Julia and tell Mitzi we're going to have cake afterwards.
Right out.
Believe me, I don't mean to be inquisitive, but there's something wrong, isn't there? Well, is it anything to do with your son?
No, he's fine. He loves the school. If he's, well, obviously a bit of a problem,
There is.
it'll be all right.
Anything you tell me will be in the strictest confidence.
There's nothing to tell. Really?
Very well. Well, I've got something to tell you that may help ease your worries.
There's nothing I can't cope with.
I know you're very independent. And I can't help you much now. Maybe perhaps soon.
Please, Letty, don't give another thought. I shall be able to manage.
I want you to know I spoke to my solicitor yesterday. I'm changing my will. Apart from Bunny's legacy, everything goes to you.
Me? You can't be serious.
Oh yes, it's all in hand.
But I don't want it. You mustn't do this. What about Patrick and Julia?
They have no claim on me. You are not the main beneficiary.
Why? Why are you telling me all this?
Well, I don't think it's a bad idea at all to tell people I'm changing my will.
I can't let you do it.
Believe me, there's a very good reason for what I'm doing. You won't get much if I die now. But sooner or later, you come to a lot of money.
Die? You're not going to die.
You never know.
Here are Miss Martin, Mrs. Beckenham, and her son. And thank you, you're welcome.
Miss Marple, Clarence is surprised. There's nothing wrong, is there?
Wrong. I suppose when the three of us turn up here these days, it does seem some trouble to fall behind. Well, I certainly hope it is. I've had enough for one weekend. It's all my fault, coming around like this. I've confronted Claire and Edmund to suggest it. I hope you don't mind. It seems such a shame, though, Miss Butter having to cancel her party. We thought we'd bring her a little present each. I'm afraid it's nothing very exciting, though. But how kind. We won't stay, of course.
Oh, but you must stay to tea. And Mitzi's made a beautiful cake. Molly would be so pleased.
Oh, we'd love to stay, thank you.
Yes. Was that where it was usually done?
Oh, yes, of course. Cool.
Well, it looks like we're going to have a party after all.
We won't have a party, just tea.
But by the way, Letty, did you find the honey that I left?
Oh, yes, Mr. Sorter, I almost forgot. Thank you.
I came in the back door and I couldn't find you anywhere. How silly of me forgetting to leave it in the first place. We got all the way home before we noticed it. Didn't we, Edmund?
I certainly could have waited for another time, Mother.
But it was your idea.
Actually, we did need it. Mitzi always uses honey for special cake.
You see.
Well, looks like you'll be able to kill this time.
Edmund, don't say things like that. I'm sure that's something we all want to forget.
How can we? It's by no means over.
I'm afraid you're right, Edmund.
I'm sure the inspector is satisfied.
Oh, I don't think he is.
He thinks somebody paid Lucius to kill that connection, that they're going to try again.
You shouldn't have mentioned that, Patrick.
Good God. It was all of us into suspicion.
I'm afraid Inspector Craddock has to include all of us here now.
Yes. How long were you out in the hall responsible? We only had your word for that you were coming from the driver.
My dear boy, I'm sure I'm very high on his list.
Really? And you seem to get on so well with him.
I think he finds it mildly amusing.
Patrick, watch these ones.
Surely there's not going to be any more unpleasantness.
Are there too many murders, Mother?
Do you have to?
Well, I think that's all over too. So let's forget it and try to enjoy ourselves.
She's coming.
Happy birthday, Bunny! But don't cancel my birthday party!
We're going to have some cake and a cup of tea, Bunny.
Oh, how lovely! And here's a little something to make your birthday very special. Thank you! I'm afraid it's only handkerchiefs. Oh, just what I wanted!
I'm afraid it's only apples in the dark.
How kind!
And I've brought you some honey.
Thank you!
I'm afraid but the bees aren't so very busy right now, so it's only half a jar.
Oh, how lovely, all of you! You'll have to excuse me. I must take some aspirin. I have the most thumping headache.
Patrick, there's some soda water on the sideboard. Let me help you.
How silly of me, having a headache on my birthday. Thank you.
You'll soon feel better.
Yes. Oh, what a magnificent cake! I used to have myself. This time I put in a special secret ingredient. Give it that extra bit of flavor. Make it more than perfect.
Have you noticed the candle, Bunny?
Yes.
Only one.
Oh, of course. There's a room for all 21 candles instead.
Don't forget to blow out the candle, Bunny. Don't worry, I've cut it, Bunny.
Yes, well, Zion, try it.
Who's fast? Oh, you're the birthday person. You should have the first line.
So go on, buddy. I'll go first. Yes. Thank you, Julia.
Don't forget to make a wish, dear.
What do you wish for?
I'm not telling. It won't come true.
If I were you, I'd wish him dead.
If you want my sister,
But I am. Someone bring it back.
What's going on? Oh, it's all inside and it's too much for her.
I'll
I'll
call
call
a
a doctor.
we should call a doctor. I'll do it. What's the number, Letty?
5-8. I'm afraid
don't have to be fast.
I know, you've been wonderful. I wouldn't do it.
There's no photograph now.
What's done is done.
I did it for you.
Oh, Miss Simmons. How are you? Good morning, Mr. Simmons.
Have you found out anything more?
We're making progress. We're not interrupting anything, are we?
No, nothing at all.
Yes.
Well,
Oh, I see. We'll go feed the dogs or something.
oh, Mr. Simmons.
Yes.
Are you aware that you've got lipstick on your collar?
Well, to put a green shirt on this morning.
We couldn't blame you for that case.
Hardly.
Oh, by the way, Miss Simmons,
Yes.
you work at the pharmacy at the local hospital, is that right?
Yes.
Thank you. There are more urgent things now, Miss Blacklock.
Will you not have to answering a lot of questions?
I'll be as brief as I can. But you've had another lucky escape.
I find it more and more difficult to accept your reasoning, Inspector. How can you possibly suggest that I was the intended victim this time? Any one of us could get that cake first.
I know that.
And Patrick's suggestion that Claire's having poisons was malicious.
I agree.
Oh, and how was the cake poisoned? Did Mitzi...
It wasn't the cake. It was these.
My aspirin.
Exactly. Your aspirin. The ones you normally keep by your bed. Someone wants you dead, Mrs. Blacklock. Very, very badly.
Frightened me.
At last. Now perhaps you'll help me find who the murderer is.
I haven't purposely been non-cooperative. It's just that I can't believe anyone would...
There's no friends when one is concerned. Did you know that Belle Golder's health has deteriorated recently?
I knew she wasn't well.
According to the Scottish police, she's now seriously ill.
She goes to her. Oh,
It could be poor Miss Blacklock.
Pip and Emma.
Yes, they're uppermost in my mind. But it could be a combination of them and their parents who are trying to kill you. Dimitri, father. You said he was a real rogue. Would he go as far as to murder for money?
I'll do anything you say.
Good. You must try to remember all you can about Sonia, Dimitri, and Emma. The son and daughter in particular, they're uppermost in my mind. Have you any photographs of them?
Belle Golder is more likely to have photographs of them than I am.
I'm afraid we drew a complete blank with her. They allowed the French police to check her house, but they found nothing. Have you anything? What I'm hoping is that Pip may remember his father, or Emma, her mother.
Or the other way around.
Exactly.
There was an old photo album. I haven't seen it for years. It should be in the house.
Find it.
It might take a while.
Would you like some help?
Let me try.
I think you want to see me.
Yes, just sit down.
Oh dear, this sounds serious.
Mrs. Haynes, if you lie, you must cover your tracks very, very carefully.
I don't understand.
Yes, you do understand. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Don't lie anymore.
Everyone says we have more freedom nowadays. The world is more understanding than it ever was before. Well, Inspector Craddock, you try being an unmarried mother.
I don't think it would work.
It isn't easy in a small village.
So you invented a husband.
How do you think Letty Blackhawk would react if she knew the truth?
She strikes me as a caring and sympathetic individual. What's more, she's no fool. A sneaky suspicion she may have guessed the truth.
So that's fine.
What?
She's so kind to me. There aren't many like her.
Tell me, does your son know the truth about his father?
He believes his
You'll find out sometime.
Maybe.
My advice is that you tell the others and your son.
Will you tell the others if I don't? It isn't a crime.
I couldn't live with it, but it's up to you.
How did you find out?
We do a lot of routine work.
You've been checking up on me?
Sort of.
You make it sound very casual.
It isn't. But it is puzzling.
Puzzling.
Yes. It's only a small thing, but I'm sure you can help. It's about your son's birth certificate.
Yes.
And this is the mother's name, Philippa Haynes.
That's me.
Oh, well in that case there is a problem. We couldn't find a birth certificate with anyone of your name. At least not one that coincides with what we know about you.
I found it. I interrupted.
Your timing is perfect. Mrs. Haynes and I have just finished. For the time being. Did you find any photographs of Sonia?
I haven't had a chance to look yet.
Is that her?
No, that's Belle. Isn't she beautiful?
Bella Skeen.
That's their place in Scotland. I'm afraid the writing is rather faint.
Tell me when there's one of Sonia and her husband.
I still need more pictures of the photograph, please.
Sonia Dimitri. Dimitri. Self Sonia. Dimitri and Bella Skeen. Someone got to this before you, didn't they?
It looks as though they've been ripped out.
Letters.
It'll be from me to my sister.
Fine, let's skim through these.
Well,
What I'm hoping is that they may mention something about Sonia and her husband.
Miss Blacklock,
not now, Bitsy. I don't want to be interrupted at the moment.
I'm not interrupt. I give you the sack. I go.
Bitsy! She can't leave.
Certainly not. When you reach her, tell her she won't go as far as the bus station.
Oh, Inspector!
Now then, Snoop, you're just in time.
Some people say I'm like a red penny.
Not me, Miss Marvel, not me.
I passed Miss Blacklock. She told me to come in. That girl of hers, Mitzi, was herring down the drive like a maniac.
She is rather peculiar, isn't she? Well, now that you're here, you might as well have a little research.
Certainly, but I do have to speak to Miss Blacklock.
Oh, it won't take long. I just didn't think you'd give up the opportunity to look through someone's old letters.
Inspector, that's not like me. Who's all there?
They're from Miss Blacklock to his sister, Charlotte. Read them. And if you find anything that may be helpful, as well as interesting, please read it out to me.
Very well.
Here's something that's been mentioned before.
What is it?
It's about her disfigurement. Charlotte said it. It's not as bad as you think, and you shouldn't lock yourself away.
I wonder what it was, this disfigurement.
It doesn't say specifically, but I'm not thinking that it is much.
Then why should she lock herself away?
Well, in my experience, most women are extremely vain. How would you react if you had a mole on the end of your nose?
I wouldn't have to look at it.
But most women would rather hide themselves than have the veil.
Oh, it's mentioned in this one too. Listen, I do wish you'd get out there. No one else notices it.
That must be pure vanity, because she obviously didn't want to come out.
Maybe.
temper. It's quite terrifying sometimes.
Did you ever find any photographs of Sonia?
Yeah. They disappeared rather conveniently. With violent temper, it was Blacklock's that she was dark and attractive. Managed to name, doesn't it?
Yes, it does indeed, Inspector.
Here's something interesting. You can always tell when Sonia's angry. She has a habit of clenching and unclenching her hands. Who does that remind you of?
You got me there, Miss Marple. Something I failed to notice.
And you don't miss much, do you? Julia Simmons does it when she's, well, agitated. I've been keeping a very careful watch on that young woman.
Well, I've checked out both Julia and Patrick. The French police contacted their mother at the South Front, and she confirmed that they were staying with them.
Really, there's no mistake.
Well, unless the woman in the South of France really isn't their mother.
Could she be Sonia? Keeping out of the way until it's all over?
Well, I'm sure the French police must have checked on that. They're very thorough.
So she is Lenny Blacklock's niece.
Almost certainly.
The very disappointing. I had hoped to figure out Emma, but I knew there was always a possibility I was wrong to suspect of Julia. She isn't the only one who does that hand-clenching business. Lisa Haynes does it as well.
Good point, Miss Marple. 10 out of 10.
It is rather discouraging that we haven't had any photographs or something.
Yes, she doesn't seem to have disappeared off the face of the earth.
I wonder what this means. Lots of love dolls and buck up. This iodine treatment may make a lot of difference.
It must be some sort of treatment they used in those days.
For what?
For TB. That's why Miss Blacklock sent her sister to Switzerland. Tell me, Miss Marple, what does this remind you of?
Well, it does look a lot like Claire's Whitman, Inspector, but,
What?
well, it is no photograph.
Sorry to keep you waiting, Miss Marple. What you say?
Oh, yes, about the funeral arrangements.
I must be getting back to the station. I'll be taking these with me if you don't mind. I'll return them when I'm done. Goodbye, Louise.
Goodbye, Inspector. I really am sorry to bother you at a time like this. I spoke to my nephew, and he told me all the arrangements are finalized. He'd like to know what hymns you'd like.
Lead Kind of Light was a favorite hymn. Please thank you for it. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. It came over me suddenly when I lost. She was my only link to the past. The only one who remembered.
I understand. Cousins, nephews, nieces, they're all the same. But when you list one person who you knew all three of you, then you really are alone. Oh, I'm sorry. I was just leaving. Not to my account, I know. No, my dear. I have something to do. Goodbye, Miss Black.
Goodbye, and thank you.
What might be this morning? Mine's from Harry. He's looking forward to half term.
Seems as though he's only gone back to school.
Letty, I realize it probably isn't the ideal time, but it is all right, isn't it? Harry coming for half term.
Tulipa,
What's wrong?
where are Patrick and Julie?
I think they're upstairs. Why? I don't understand.
Will you please get them?
Julia, Patrick, Letty wants to talk with you. Shall I go?
I'd like you to stay.
Julia won't be a moment.
Sit down.
What is it?
I this letter. Dear Aunt Letty, I hope it will be alright for me to come to you on Tuesday. Patrick is going to let me know when he hasn't. My train arrives at about 6:15. Signed, yours affectionately, Julia. Is this from your sister?
I'm afraid so.
Then could you please tell me who that woman is upstairs?
I can explain.
Do.
I know it was a stupid thing to do. But you see, Julia, my real sister, didn't want to take up the job in the hospital here. She was offered a job up north in some theaters as an assistant stage manager. She's always been stage sharp, and she'd mother would be furious if you took it. I wanted to tell you, but you didn't come straight back here when we got back to England. There were friends to see, parties to go to. That's where we met Julia. The one upstairs, I mean. She and I rather fell for each other, and she wasn't doing anything in particular. It seemed like a marvelous idea for the girls to swap identities. I liked her for obvious reasons. If Mother believed if my sister was here, she couldn't complain. I wanted to tell you, but I couldn't in the circumstances.
Will you please tell me who that woman is upstairs?
Well, I'm trying to. You see, she's...
Who are you? Who are you?
I'm Mother Stephens.
Hello, to Craig 187. Hold on. Inspector, it's for you.
Hello, Chronic here. Yes. What? Well, keep me informed. That's a disturbing development. Miss Marble's been missing since she left here this morning.
What's terrible?
There's nearly 7 hours.
Mrs. Swettenham and her son Edward. Thank you for your bill.
What is it now, Inspector?
All in good time.
Well, I don't like policemen showing up on my doorstep and asking me to accompany them. My neighbors will be tittle-tattling for weeks.
I should be writing to the papers about this.
That'll keep you busy for a change, won't it? Mitzi, you said you had something to tell us.
Mitzi. Yes. I will tell the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. When I saw what happened Friday, I did not do that.
We all know what a liar she is.
Please!
I am in the dining room, like I said. When I hear the gun go off, I looked through the keyhole, and in the little moonlight, I could see Miss Blacklock.
Mitzi! Oh, Mitzi!
That's absurd. Go on, Mr. Swetnam. Why stop now? Why? Why couldn't she have seen Miss Blacklock? It's because she saw you, wasn't it?
Edmund, that's not possible.
Rich woman would have solved your problems, wouldn't it, Mr. Swetnam? 2 people stand to benefit from Miss Blacklock's death. I'm a stamp for this.
And you think I'm Pip?
Who told you about Pip, Mr. Swetnam? I certainly didn't. Neither has anyone else in this room.
You're wrong, Inspector. I told him. He isn't Pip. I am. You wrongly assumed Pip was a boy. Emma, we knew the truth. Why didn't you say so?
Because I suspected who you were. The inspector was right. I was putting out ungodly loyalty. I didn't want to keep you away.
You of all people for the gun.
I am sorry, Letty, but when my mother died, I was desperate for money. Hers had gone years ago. She told me about the will, and I discovered for myself that Lola was seriously ill.
You had gone to a lot of trouble.
It was important to me. I wanted security, not for me, for my son.
I was prepared to help both of you.
Yes, well, it was part of my plan to get into your good books.
And it worked, didn't it?
But I was fond of you.
I even changed my will in your favor.
That scared me stiff. I thought you found out who I really was and was trying to scare me off from getting my own money.
You're coming to kill me for it.
It never occurred to me, even though I thought I was more entitled to it than you. But there it is. I am Pip. And I'm glad you know.
You two have been seeing quite a bit of each other recently.
Yes, well, there's no need to suspect Edmund anymore, Inspector.
Isn't there? Mr. Swetnam's a struggling young writer, not yet published. Who would do anything to marry a rich woman.
That's not true!
You're dead up to your eyeballs!
Nonsense!
And I can prove it. The banks, the bookmakers.
So what? Does that make me a
It can't be, not Edmund.
A rich wife would solve all your problems, Mr. Swetnam. But in order for her to be rich, Miss Blacklock had to die. And you did something about that.
Edmund, you couldn't.
She was stopping your medium duty shares in turn, Mr. Swetnam.
Wait, Edmund!
Inspector, on the phone.
No, you won't get far. You must call your solicitor as soon as possible. I know this must be a great shock to you.
It seems like a bad dream.
And I want to see you down at the station.
Now,
It won't take long. Mr. Simmons, would you please drive Mrs. Swetnam home?
Yes, yes, of course.
Called her doctor won't do any harm. You're a magnificent liar, Mitzi.
I do well, yes. I did what you asked.
To the letter. Sorry to keep you in the dark.
You are a clever girl, Mitzi.
Thank you, Miss Blacklock. I get you some coffee. You look tired.
That would be nice.
Black and strong.
A little milk if you don't mind.
Ugh, how you drink it. Horrible.
Miss Blacklock, I'm sorry that I couldn't tell you.
You might have told me you'd arranged it.
Then you wouldn't have reacted as you did. Although it was a little unorthodox, it still worked.
What if it hadn't?
And I'd be in a bit of a mess, wouldn't I?
What about Miss Mom?
Hope they have some news down at the station. Just hope she didn't find out about Edwin Whitman before we did.
You can let me know when you hear.
Yes, of course.
I'll share that with you.
I'll see you in the morning.
Thank you, Inspector.
Here you are, Miss Blacklock. I put in just a little bit. I dropped it too. I take a liberty. I do myself some. Of course. Now, Miss Blacklock, we have a nice little chat.
Oh?
I need money, lots of money.
Why tell me?
I think you will help me.
I haven't got any money, Lindsay. Not to spare.
But soon you'll be rich, very rich. Then you give me lots of money.
I don't think I will.
Oh yes, you will. Because I help you. Now you help me.
But I pay you to help me. With the cooking, the house.
No, that is not what I mean. Just now, I tell a big bargain for the inspector. Except it isn't a lie.
You don't know what the truth is, Lindsay.
Yes, I think I do. The inspector come to me and say, Mitzi, you are a lie. I say yes, it is true. You tell lie for me, he said. You say, when you look through the keyhole, you see Miss Blacklock in the hall.
You did your little bit very well. However, I shan't be paying for it.
Except, he tell me to lie. And it is not a lie. For once, I tell the truth. I did see you in the hall with the gun in your hand. You give me lots of money. I go to America to see my brother. You never hear from me again.
You haven't got a brother, Lindsay. So if I give you money, you'll probably spend it all, then come back to see if you can get more.
I see you in the hall. You have the gun in your hand. You give me the money or I tell the police.
Very well. Here. Phone. Phone the police. Tell them that you saw me in the hallway. Tell them that you saw me holding a gun. Go on, tell them. And I'll tell them you're a liar. A liar who's trying to blackmail me.
I am not a liar!
And you'll be put in prison. Like you say you were in your own country. I'll tell you why you won't do it. You said you were locked in the dining room and that you saw me in the hall with a gun. Well, my dishonest little Mitzi is another one of your lies. The police know, and everyone who was here on Friday night knows that the key was in. So, it would have been impossible for you to see anything through the key. Get out. Get out of my house now!
Stand by the line. good enough? Yep, it's good.
Lottie? Lottie, it's me, Lottie. Lottie, you're in danger. Danger.
Ronnie?
Lottie. Lottie.
Ronnie, I loved you. I really loved you. You meant so much to me. I didn't want you to die.
But Bunny had to die. Every day she was becoming more and more of a liability.
Was Marvel some kind of joke?
I've heard a tale for mimicry, so I'm told.
Joke in the worst possible taste.
Such sensitivity doesn't become you, Charlotte.
Charlotte is dead. I am the teacher.
Bunny would keep referring to you as Bobby instead of Letty at the most inconvenient times. I thought it was a slip of the tongue. I'm sure other people did as well. But she was the only one left who knew the truth, who remembered.
My dear woman, Bunny always muddled people's names. Everyone knew it. Bitsy, for instance, was often called Millie. At times she referred to you as Miss Me. She confused you with the London Star. We were all highly amused.
She was putting you at risk every time she got love. You couldn't take that risk anymore. At any moment, she might give it all away.
Miss Marple, how dare you? Will you please leave?
Recognize it?
It's mine.
And it used to be kept here, but this one replaced it. The plexus frame. You can actually see the bad light. Bunny put me onto it when she showed me the cigarette burn on the side of it. She even insisted that you were holding the vase of violets and not the tray of biscuits as you insisted.
Nonsense. Another one of Bunny's muddles. I was holding the tray of biscuits. Philippe will confirm it. She had them.
All eyes were on the clock. As it finished striking, you simply emptied the water onto the bad wire. That was the flash Bunny saw. Then fused the lights. Very effective.
What a vivid imagination you have. I should be careful not to let it run away with you. Imagine your old age pension will cover solicitors' fees.
I'll risk it.
It's your
I plan to live a few more years. When your father died, your sister, Letitia,
Charlotte.
decided to take you to Switzerland.
Charlotte had TV. It was the best place for her. I had the money. I loved to do.
It was the right decision. You, Charlotte, were pure. However, ironically, Letty caught pneumonia and died. You are frantic because with her death, the golden millions slipped through your fingers. Then it occurred to you, you and Letty had been away from England for years. There were big similarities between the two of you. Why not swap identities with her?
My birth certificate, my passport, even my bank will confirm that I am Letitia. And I even have Charlotte's death certificate.
You came back to this country, and Dora Warner contacted Letitia because she badly needed help.
Even if Bonnie had recognized me, then any deception I planned would have become completely impossible.
She did recognize you, but when you explained to her about Randall Goldberg and Will, she actually agreed with you that it was your right to have the money, and even offered to help you. You were lonely, and here was someone who enough. You ran into Rudy Shears, and he recognized you as Charlotte. You knew that Belle could die at any moment, and you also knew the sort of man he was. When the news broke that you wanted to inherit it for the millions, knowing that you weren't Letitia, there was a strong possibility that you would try to blackmail him. You dare not even allow the smallest chance of that. You'd never get rid of him.
I have my methods of dealing with blackmail.
When Rudy Shears came here for his Erica, it was heaven sent. Fine, he said. Next Friday's the 13th, and I'm giving a party for my friends. I want to give them a thrill. You put an announcement in the paper saying a murder will take place here at 6:30. Then show up. I'll use the lights, and you pretend it's a holdup. It'll scare them stiff. Then I'll give you your money.
Do go on. It's very interesting.
You fuse the lights as I explained. When through this door, quickly along the passage, walked Missy in the dining room. Then it came back into this room through this door. Fired 2 shots at yourself, except you weren't there.
How do you account for one of the bullets nicking my ear?
It was too obvious. Everyone knows the earlobe leaves profusely when cut. A pair of scissors would do the trick. Then you shot Rudy Shears at point-blank range.
I've left, so I didn't feel some sort of reason for leaving. Feel free to tell Inspector Crabbe all you told me. He'll put it down as the ranting of an old woman. Because we both know there's no proof.
Oh,
No.
do you remember Bunny's favorite quotation? And said affliction bravely born. Switzerland is famous not only for pure TV. In a letter to you from Letitia, she mentioned iodine. It baffled me for a while, but with a little research, I discovered Swiss doctors are famous for perfecting a very special glandular operation. Oh! Good boy. I'm perfectly sure that when the records are checked, we'll find that it was Lawson and not Letty who successfully operated on Gordon.
What a pity you interfered. You're missing.
Presumed dead.
Edmund Sweater stabbed him. Dumped your body in the river.
No!
It's all over now, Miss Blacklock.
You interfered. There's no need to hold on to me, Inspector.
Are you all right, Miss Marple?
Yes, thank you.
You did very well. Come along, everyone. It's all over now.
You've no idea what a terrible time I've been through. I shall never forgive you, never.
I'm sorry, Mother, but I could never have told you. You never would have agreed to it.
But how could you have deceived me like that?
You see, I had an agreement with the inspector. If I helped him, I would be the first to receive all the facts. I'm convinced there's a wonderful novel in all of this, and if I don't write it, somebody else will.
What does the inspector want with us now?
He didn't say.
The inspector telling me to come in here and read these. What do you think of my acting, eh?
Where are you acting, Bridget?
I was even better when I pretended to blackmail Miss Blacklock. I give up on him and go on to the stage.
I owe an apology, Mrs. Sweat. The fewer of people who knew what I was up to, the better. That's why I wouldn't tell you either.
Supposing I hadn't come to Edmund's rescue and agreed to meet him.
But there was no real danger of that, was there? Now that you're all here, I've got a little surprise for you. I figured since it was all over, you'd be able to enjoy it now. delicious dab. It's already cut, so dig in. Sweater?
No, thank you. I'm on a diet.
Oh, please. Funny people.